You finally step out and ask for help. Who's at the other end of the phone? You'll meet Amy today.
I am redeemed. You set me free. So I'll shake off these heavy chains and wipe away every stain. That I'm not who I used to be. I am redeemed.
It is the 24th day of March in the Lord's year 2014. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and this is Recovery Monday, brought to you by the good folks at Powell CDC here at webcast1live.com, and also hosted on KTIA 99.3. Of course, Lila Stafford in the house as our co-host. She is a chemical dependency counselor.
Yes.
Is that the right title? Mm-hmm. Okay. At Powell CDC, and of course, my longtime cohort and spy in common, Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat. And what that means is if you go to webcast1live.com, webcast1, O-N-E, live.com, you can watch us. We don't call it TV. We call it passionate radio with pictures. And you can click on a screen that allows you to participate in a live chat that's going on. So perhaps you want to ask a question or make a comment, but you can't get to a phone, or the office doesn't let you make phone calls to radio stations or whomever. You can chat that question to us, and we can get it from you that way. Or also you can just simply call 244-0077. That's 515 area code 244-0077. I want to introduce you to Amy Oehlert. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Thank you very much. I don't get names right very well. And you are a care manager at Powell CDC. Tell me what a care manager is.
Well, I am one of the first people that our clients or people in the community will be able to talk to see about getting into substance abuse treatment at Iowa Lutheran Hospital. So if they call and want to schedule an appointment, or they just want to get somebody into treatment, we get the phone calls and we take care to talk to them and see if we're the right place and we can offer services to them.
And the title of care manager is probably more appropriate than most people would think, because whoever calls you is probably in a pickle.
Right.
They're either they or someone they love or care about is out of control, gone too far, in trouble, whatever it is, and you're the first compassionate voice they hear.
Right. Yep. They're almost always in a crisis, or it's the family member who's calling to get them in a help immediately. So, yeah.
How often do you hear from the patient?
Maybe 50% of the time it's the patient themselves calling, but I would say a good portion of the time it's family or friends calling. When
the patient calls, are they usually, what's the word I want?
High? Sober?
Sure. I mean, are they intoxicated? Are they high?
A lot of the time, yes,
right.
They are.
Even when they come in, I think to see Amy or other care managers for the first time, I know this is true too. Where I went to treatment, they would stock up almost before they came because they know they're going to have to stop.
Yeah.
And they can't remember a lot of what they've said.
Right.
Well, I remember I had a friend of mine's son. And it wasn't Powell. It was someplace else. Got signed up, got registered to go in out of state, and it was like 3 days away. And so for 3 days, that person...
The last hurrah.
And they died.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
They died. They didn't make it.
That's very sad.
Yeah, that is. Amy Oehlert is our guest. She's a care manager for Powell CDC. So... is there times of day, or are there days when calls are more prevalent than others?
We get a lot of calls on weekends, which at that time the phones are answered in our nurses station, and so the staff there try to handle the phone calls as best they can, but they can't do any direct admission work, so they refer the person to call us Monday morning. We get a lot of calls during business hours right up until 5 o'clock and even all evening.
Yeah. Would you prefer to have somebody experienced in care management like yourself to honor those phones 24/7?
It's helpful if you have someone who knows how to answer the questions and knows how to help the client understand what to expect when they come in. So, for example, a lot of our administrative or secretary folks, they answer all the questions that they can, but they don't know about the insurance part of it, which is very complicated sometimes.
Yeah.
And so it is important that we as care managers try to help the clients understand if they're going to be covered under their insurance if they choose to come to Powell, or if they're going to be out of network. We try to help guide them along that process because that's not an easy process.
So you also know a lot about insurance.
Yes.
We've added, just this year, we've added one more care manager because the two that we had were just run ragged, actually. We needed a third one.
The insurance process, if it weren't for that, we would have a lot more time to spend directly with the clients. But the insurance work takes so much time on the phone or on the internet trying to get all the care authorized.
Yeah, and they're not on hold while that's going on.
No.
This is behind the case.
This is after they're admitted into treatment or even just before their appointment. If we've made an appointment for them, I like to try to understand where they are with their insurance policy before they get there so I can help them understand.
All right, so let's go through a phone call. Are you a good role player?
Yes.
All right, let's role play for a minute, and I'll be me. 4 years ago or more, I've been sober 1,416 days, so almost 4 years, and so let's be me.
Okay.
And I call up and you say, hello.
Hello, this is Amy. I'm a care manager. How can I help you?
Well, Amy, I think I need to quit drinking.
Okay. How often are you drinking?
Every day.
Okay. And about how much a day are you drinking?
About a liter.
A liter.
Liter of gin a day.
Okay. And when was the last time you went a day or two without drinking?
Probably when I spent 2 days in jail on my second OWI.
Okay.
That was
That was a long time ago?
That was over 10 years ago.
Okay. How about any drug use?
No, not a drug
drugs.
user.
Any
I mean, when I was in kid,
Okay.
but no, nothing currently, nothing for years.
And any prescription misuse
Misuse?
or abuse?
Well, I have a prescription of I can't think of the name of it. It's a sleeping aid, and I'm
Okay.
supposed to take one, but I take two.
Okay.
And then I also add some PM Excedrin
Okay.
because I don't sleep very well.
Okay. Well, that's normal. A lot of people who are abusing drugs or alcohol don't sleep very well.
No.
So, and how old are you?
I am 50 years old.
Okay. Do you live in the Des Moines area?
I live in Clive, communist Clive.
Okay. So as far as treatment goes, it sounds like you're ready to get some help.
I am. I'm just sick and tired of
Okay.
being sick and tired.
Okay. So what I'd like to do is schedule an appointment to make sure that we can get you in and get you taken care of. But I have to ask, what is your medical insurance? Because I want to make sure that you're in network with us.
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Okay. And through an employer in Iowa, or is it Blue Cross out of state?
It's in Iowa.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to get you an appointment, and we're going to get you in, and I'm going to have you bring in some clothes and your overnight things just to make sure that you're prepared to stay overnight if we decide to recommend inpatient care.
All right, break. At this time, I'm not gonna say what I would have normally said. I'm just gonna give you a scenario because right at that point, I'd probably say, "Oh gosh, Amy, thank you so much. When do you want me there?" And I'm there. Let's go down the other road. Well, I don't. I mean, can I be honest with you? My wife's just on me, and I just told her that I'd go get some treatment, but I really don't want to stay all night. Can I just come in and talk to somebody, and then you can? Maybe you could give me a form that I could show my wife that I'm not an alcoholic. That just because I drink like that doesn't mean I have a problem.
Well, I would say we could still bring you in, do the evaluation, and you can see what our recommendation would be after that evaluation. If you don't want to stay, we cannot make you stay.
Well, I had a friend of mine who says if you go to take an evaluation at a treatment center, it's in their behoovness to always find you alcoholic because that's how they make their money.
Well, not so. In the hospital, we have to have medical necessity to be able to recommend treatment, whether it's inpatient, residential, or outpatient.
Well, do you think drinking... Now, understand, Amy, I don't drink in the morning. Mm-hmm. I never drink at noon. And I mean never. I mean like in my 16 years of drinking, I've maybe had a cocktail once at noon. I don't drink till I get home. I stopped drinking and driving 10 years ago after my second OWI. I'm not hurting anybody. She's just mad because I kind of yelled at her the other day when I was drunk.
But it sounds like it's interfering in your relationship. And my guess
She
is...
does a lot of things to interfere in our relationship, too.
Could be. But it sounds like she may be ready to say, if you don't get some help, I'm done. And that's what we see a lot of times with couples.
Well, yeah, I don't know. She just, I don't know.
Well, how
she
about...
doesn't drink, so she doesn't understand that, it's okay. So what if I drink, $10 of gin a day? Who cares?
Well, if it's causing problems in your relationship, then it may be something that you want to take a look at. But as far as coming to us, we can do an evaluation. You can say, yes, I'll do what you're asking, or no thanks, I'll come back another day, or I don't need your help.
Can you just do the evaluation over the phone with me here?
Actually, we can't. Because a lot of the times the recommendation is also based on physical symptoms that we can see if you're face-to-face with me. But we also do, we take a set of vitals, your blood pressure, your pulse, and we do an assessment for, withdrawal symptoms. So we need to see you in person.
Heavy exhale on the phone. Amy, you're killing me. Honey, shut up. I'm talking to the counselor. That's what you wanted. I'm just role-playing. Well, okay, let's say I did come in and you guys said I had to stay there. Is it like overnight? Is it 2 days? What is it?
Well, for alcohol withdrawal, the detox stay is 3 to 4 days, and then we do a resident
detox.
Yeah.
You make me sound like I'm some kind of drunk.
No.
Like I'm Otis from Mayberry and I need to sleep it off.
Well, if you need detox, we do 3 to 4 days. That's how long a detox from alcohol takes.
So
and then
kind of like a vacation, really, right?
Well, in some ways, yes, especially for your family.
Oh, you're real funny, Amy. She's like you. She has a sense of humor, dear. Now, I sleep with a CPAP machine. Can I bring that with me?
Yes, we would love for you to bring that.
How about my puppy, Picasso?
No, your puppy will have to stay home. But he might be able to come visit later.
Okay. All right, let's set up an appointment and I'll come in and see you face to face. But I'm not promising anything.
That's okay.
Okay.
Not a problem.
And I'll tell you what happens sometimes.
Very good, by the way. You are a good role player.
She's a really good intake person. What happens sometimes is that somebody is only telling part of the truth. Mm-hmm. And when you said like you didn't take drugs, I know you personally didn't, but there are people who will only tell part of the story, and that's all they have nerve to do. And so you don't even find out the rest of it till they're halfway through treatment or whatever. Then they start telling the truth a little more, and you find out.
And I remember when I went through Powell once, because I had to, outpatient. I got my first OWI, and I had to go through the outpatient class for 30 days. And when they asked me how much I drank, my answer was like 2 drinks a day, or a night.
And then we say, what size?
I don't remember them saying what size.
That was my husband's. We'd get the big thing like that.
Yeah. Well, Amy, for years and years and years, I was blessed enough to own restaurants and nightclubs. And at the bar, any glass on the bar would get swept away. So I drank out of shakers.
Oh.
10 shakers. Mm-hmm. And so that was 1 drink. Now, it would take me 3 of those to kill a liter. So I could tell you that I drank 2, maybe 3 drinks a night.
Sure.
But I'm drinking straight gin on water. I used to do all the mixes and stuff, and I just got tired of it. So I just went to gin and water. That's how bad it was at the end.
Wow.
That's really stupid.
I used to bartend, and I didn't know anything about hard liquor, and someone would say, I want gin on rocks or something, and I would just fill the whole big glass full of that. Didn't know you were supposed to measure it.
Yeah. Oh, no. I know. All right. Let's take our first break. And when we come back, Amy and I are going to continue, if it's okay with you, we're going to continue the role play, but now we're face-to-face. And this will give you an idea of you listening at home what this process is. Now, why do we do this? Do I really think the person who's an alcoholic or a drug addict is listening to this program right now? No. But you are. And you know somebody that you worry about and that you care about. It might be your spouse, it might be a sibling, it might be a child, it might be somebody in your Bible study, it might be your pastor, maybe somebody who works in the cubicle next to you. And you just don't know how to do it. You don't know how to approach them because you know they're hurting. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. So on this show, Recovery Monday, Powell comes in and we help educate you. We help you to understand what that person's going through and how to face it. When we come back face-to-face live here on Recovery Monday on KTIA, Iowa.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Hey, psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places. Especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, reliable, trustworthy. It's AMCO on Hickman Road in front of Kmart. And it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give AMCO on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent you.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. 21 minutes after 3 on this, the 24th day of March. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. If you are local here in the central Iowa area, I'm going to use a 4-letter word that you're not going to like. SNOW. That's right. We have flurries across central Iowa. The good news is no accumulation, but it just keeps us in the deep freeze.
It was getting bad coming here.
Yeah. Well, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're supposed to be out of this and actually finally into some spring-like weather by the end of the week, so we should have a nice weekend. But the long winter of 13-14 just continues. And my folks live in Connecticut, and they're supposed to have 6 inches of snow with 60-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh.
6 inches of fluffy snow and 60-mile-an-hour winds is like blizzard condition.
Yeah.
So they're not leaving the house. Also, congratulations to the Cyclones. The men's Cyclones pulled off an unbelievable victory in the March Madness on Sunday. Yeah, and now they play the Yukon boys, who are on a hot streak, and that game, I believe, is 9 o'clock on Friday night. So congratulations to the mayor and his great job up there. I had the mayor on the radio with me years ago when he was playing for when he was playing for Ames High. Oh. He was on the radio with me one time, and he was a gentleman then, and he still is.
The
what a classic
mayor
guy.
of Ames.
No. Fred Hoiberg, which is the coach of the Iowa State Cyclones. Mm-hmm. Okay. He played at Ames High, and then he played for Iowa State, and he got the nickname the Mayor.
Oh,
because he was from Ames, and his parents were from Ames, and his high school sweetheart, which he married and is still married to, her folks are from Ames, so they just call him the Mayor.
Okay. Oh, I'm thinking Frank County. I'm thinking he was a swimmer.
That's all right. No, that's all right. Okay, today you heard Lila there, and she's from Powell CDC. Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat, and our special guest is Amy Oehlert.
Yes.
Oehlert?
Oehlert.
What kind of name is that?
I'm not sure.
Or it sounds like Danish or German.
It could be.
She's the care manager, one of the 3 care managers at Powell CDC. So she's the first voice you hear. When you call in to get help for yourself or your spouse or someone you love or someone you care for, or maybe that disturbing neighbor that keeps ringing the doorbell at 2 a.m. and you want him out of here, she's the first person that so many times that you talk to. And why do we have her on? We have her on because the goal of this show, I really don't think on a Christian radio station, we're talking to a lot of drunks. More than you probably think. 20% of people that sit in the pews with you at church on Sunday are alcoholics. I hate to tell you that, but it's true. It's almost double that in the secular workplace. 4 out of 10 people that you work with probably have an alcohol or prescription drug problem. Another one of you is watching pornography. One of you is having an affair. The other one is either in or is causing an emotional, abusive relationship. And one of you lives in denial so deep that you probably suffer with all of that. And the reason for this show is to let you know there's help. There's help locally, right here in Des Moines. Powell, been around how many years? 52?
Well,
at least
40. This is our 41st year.
41st year. And that's why we do this show. We do this show so week after week after week, maybe you get a little more comfortable with that ugly word alcoholic or that ugly word drug abuser. And understand that drug abuse nowadays does not necessarily mean a straw and a mirror with white powder. It may mean that the doctor said you could take 1 Oxycontin a day and you're taking 4. Who was the young lady that we had in that is in your program?
Jill.
Jill. She was taking like 30 pills a day when she was supposed to be taking 3 or 4 for pain. It is devastating what the abuse of the pharmaceutical community is doing to our families. So on Recovery Monday with Powell CDC, we just come here to talk about it. And Amy's front line. Now, before we kind of role played, which we didn't practice, so that was pretty good.
That was.
We role played a phone call. Now I want to role play an actual. I'm sitting in front of her admissions person, and kind of give you an idea of what that process is like. So I come in and I sit down and we shake hands and I say, "Hi, Amy. My name's Mac."
And I always say, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm a care manager. I'm a licensed mental health therapist and a certified addiction counselor. And we're going to ask us a few questions, then we're going to see where we land in the end as far as recommendations.
Okay.
And then my next question always is, what brings you here today? What's the why now?
My wife. Sunday night, last night after the basketball game with Iowa State, I mean, I'm an Iowa State fan. Woo, clones! I got season tickets. And I had a little more to drink than I usually do that early in the evening. Usually she goes to bed, so she doesn't see me in the end. But she saw me, and she said something to me, and I said something I probably shouldn't have said. So she told me I had to come get help. So I'm here because I'm under pressure from the boss.
Okay. So kind of an ultimatum for now.
For now, I love her, and I want to do what I can, and I know I don't have an alcohol problem, and I'm sure you'll figure that out. But just for her, I want you to take that piece of paper and then right at the end, Mac does not have an alcohol. He's not alcoholic. That's what I need, so I can give it to my wife.
Well, I won't be able to write that for sure.
Can
but
somebody?
That I can't promise.
Okay.
But we're going to go through, and I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions.
There's this hot chick named Lila Stafford that works here. Can I get her to make that out for me?
You can try, but she probably won't.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I heard she's nice.
So I go through and then ask a whole bunch of questions about, and I learn a little bit about what you do, if you're working or not working, and how many kids you have, and then I go through and ask, how much are you drinking, or what's your drug of choice, first of all? And if
I don't use drugs.
So it's alcohol.
Yeah, it's alcohol. Gin.
And your age of...
And only Sapphire. I only drink one kind of gin.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Okay.
And are you drinking every day?
Yeah.
And then we go through and answer how much a day.
About a liter.
And your last drink was?
Well, last night.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Monday, right? Yeah, last night.
And so every day a liter.
Yeah.
For how long?
Oh, gosh. I didn't drink when I was a kid. Okay. I didn't start drinking until I was 34 years old.
Okay.
But I started drinking, it'd be 16 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has it been daily for 16 years?
Oh, man, I don't know. It's been daily for as long as I can remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
So quite a few years.
Yeah, because I got my second OWI, and I went to jail, and I remember laying there thinking, man, this is the first night, and then the second night, I remember thinking, this is the second night. I've gone without alcohol for I don't know how long. And I was fine, by the way. See, and that should prove I'm not an alcoholic. I went to jail for 2 nights, and I didn't get all shaky or anything. I was fine.
Okay. So you've never been in detox before or needed detox? Have you ever been in substance abuse treatment?
Well, yeah, when my OWI, they made me do outpatient. And I just, kind of like what I want you to do. They just had to sign that piece of paper that told me I showed up to meetings.
Okay.
And I was good. The judge said I was good. Everybody said I was okay.
Okay. Well, I can't do that for you, but I can, decide what we think would be helpful for you, whether it's outpatient or inpatient. When was the last time you went a day or two without drinking?
Well, just when I went to jail. So that was about 10 years ago.
Okay.
No, that was about 9 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you don't drink, do you ever have withdrawal symptoms?
No.
So do you ever, you said you only drink in the evenings, is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, every once in a while, my buddy Vic and I will put some ribs on the smoker, like on noon on Sunday, and I'll have a Bloody Mary.
Okay.
But I'm not a wake up, I don't have...
You don't drink in the middle of the night or drink in the morning?
I don't have bottles under my seat like I know some guys do, and I'm going to go to bars and sit there after work. I come home, I'm a good father.
Okay. And you work full time,
Yeah,
is that right?
yeah.
And does your drinking ever get in the way of work? Do you call in sick or
No.
have hangovers?
No, I can't, and you can't be drunk and be on the radio. That's against federal law, and I could really get bad trouble there. So I never drink before I get on the radio.
Okay.
Now, you can't be drunken on public radio.
Okay. So would you be willing to consider some treatment? Take some time off of work or try to work treatment into your work schedule?
Well, as long as I'm not, I need to be available from like noon to 4 every day for my radio show.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm good.
So we could maybe fit in some evening treatment, an outpatient evening treatment with that schedule.
Well, tell me what that. I don't. What is that? I don't know what that looks like. Am I laying? Do I just come into bed and not drink, and so?
Well, if we've ruled out, I'm going to step aside here. If we've ruled out detox and you don't need detox, and we've ruled out residential, then we start with intensive outpatient.
Intensive.
Correct.
I don't like that word.
Well, it just means 9 or more hours of treatment per week.
Oh, that's not bad. That's just a couple hours a day, Monday through Friday.
Well, it's not.
Do I have my weekends off?
Yes, but we're going to ask.
Because I drink on the weekend a little more.
Well, we're going to ask you to be abstinent. Powell's program is an abstinence-based program, so no use of any mood-altering substances during the course of your treatment, including weekends and nights and times when you're not in treatment.
Hold on. You mean when I get home at night, I can't have a drink before I go to bed?
That's right. That's what we would ask.
But if I'm not here on Saturday and Sunday, why can't I drink then?
Because you're in an outpatient treatment program that's abstinence-based. So if you don't...
Do you have one that's not I want the one that's not abstinent-based.
Well, that's not Powell. I don't know if there's one of those in Des Moines.
Yeah, that's a stupid question, isn't it, really, when you think about it? But I don't know these things because I'm just role-playing.
Right. So treatment at Powell is a lot of counseling and a lot of education. And it's both group-based and it's individual counseling.
Group?
Yes, you'll be in a group with...
Like those TV shows or movies where they all sit around and say their first name and admit they're an alcoholic?
Well, there is some of that takes place, but you say what you're comfortable.
I'm not interested in going to that anonymous thing.
The AA or NA meetings?
Yeah, the people with the brown bottles that live under the bridges. I don't have that problem.
Well, we do encourage, we're abstinence-based, but we are also a 12-step-based program. So we really do wish for people to explore going to 12-step meetings, and treatment helps introduce you to that concept and all of those kinds of what meetings are about, what it's like, and other people will probably ask you to go to a meeting with them in treatment.
But I don't have to, right?
We can't force that on you, but we're really going to wish for you to explore that.
Now, you can wish upon a star. That's okay. I'm just telling you. If I do this for 3 or 4 days, let's say I'd go for a whole week.
Okay.
Do I then get something to show my wife?
Well, if you sign a release of information, of course, we can talk with your wife and let her know you're here in treatment and that we
Well,
recommended.
she'll know I'm here. I just want you to tell her that I'm not an alcoholic.
Well, we'll talk with her and set up a marital session to maybe talk about what we think would be helpful for you and your relationship.
Marital you mean like marriage counseling?
A session or
I'm not
two.
going to do marriage. I don't need marriage. See, now you're just like my wife. You broads all stick together, don't you? First I have an alcohol problem. Now you're going to put me in marriage counseling.
You're more difficult than most of our clients.
All right, let's take a break here. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be difficult. But you know what? The truth of the matter is, that's probably what I would have been like 10, 12 years ago.
Sometimes people are feeling that scared and anxious about it, and sometimes, most of the time, they're not. But
I would have been sweet and manipulative. That's what I would have been, you know?
You wouldn't be alone.
I bet there's a lot of guys like that out there, aren't there? And women.
Yeah.
All right. When we take a break, we'll come back and we'll continue some of this role playing. But most importantly, I think what the audience is hearing is what I hope you're hearing in the audience is you're hearing some of the things, the excuses that you hear from that person that you love or care about. Oh, I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink that much. Well, I only drink at night. Sure, I can go a day without drinking. I don't have a problem. And if you hear those things, if you have to ask if you're an alcoholic, you probably are. But we'll talk about some of the signs and things we talk about. Amy Oehlert is my guest. She's a care manager for Powell CDC. And, of course, Lila is here. She is a substance abuse counselor. Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat. And, of course, Ryan's producing. I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. Love this job. Couldn't do it without you. Right here on 99.3 KTIA, powered by webcast1live.com. Good afternoon.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershad.
I'm administrative manager
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're gonna do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's gonna be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're gonna do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you gonna say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're gonna be listening. They're gonna wanna know what your challenges are. Then they're gonna come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going, though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm going to take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
.38, 22 before the top. Salem Radio Network news at the top of the hour. And then Michael Mudloff with True Blue here on 99.3 KTIA. You can always listen to the previous programs that we have by going to MacMcCoy, Twiz-I, MacMcKoy.com. And then go under shows, and you'll see a drop down, and it'll say Recovery Monday. And if you click on that, all the shows that we've done now for almost a year. Are we over a year yet?
No, in May.
May. And every guest we've ever had. And let me tell you something. Lila, you do a great job with getting guests, because we've had everybody from experts like yourself to other counselors and people who seek advice or people who help people, to people who have been through the program, people who have been through the program multiple times. And it's always our goal on this program. I mean, obviously, I'm on a Christian radio station. I don't think I'm talking to the guy who just, bailed out of some bar over the noon hour and had a sandwich and a couple of hits, and he's driving down the road listening to the radio. I think you're probably not the patient, but you may be the enabler. And I'm sorry I used that word. I was called that once, an enabler, and I didn't like it, because that said that I had some responsibility. It said that I could do something better, and then I was doing something wrong. And it wasn't my fault that they acted the way they did, but I was enabling. Maybe you're enabling. Now, you may just call it, I'm loving them, I'm supporting them. I mean, I'd rather have the grandkids drinking in the basement than drinking out on the street. That's nothing wrong with that, right? At least I know they're here. That was the excuse we heard a lot in the 60s and 70s. At least the kids are home. We know where they're at. The bottom line is, if somebody you love is caught up in one of life's hurts, habits, and hang-ups, there's probably something you can do. You don't know what to do. So that's why somebody like Amy comes on the air, so she can share with you what she does and how she talks to people, how she talks to husbands about their wives, mothers about their sons and their daughters, friends about their other BFFs. How can we help you help them? That's what we do here on Recovery Mondays. All right. We had fun role-playing. Thank you. You did a good job.
That was fun.
And I have to tell you that second guy was probably a lot like I would have been, 10 years ago or something like that. Because it's interesting. I started drinking in 94. And by the time we got to 2001, I had 2 DUIs. 5 years drinking, but I had 2 DUIs. And if you had told me I had an alcohol problem, I was long past denial, which is also a river in Egypt. I didn't have a drinking problem. Mm-hmm. How could I have a drinking problem? I go to work every day. I don't drink in the morning, first of all, and I was just convinced that every alcohol was drunk in the morning. I didn't drink at noon. It never hurt my work. I was never fired from my job. For the most part, my family didn't complain a lot about it.
That's the problem, because most people think that to be an alcoholic, you have to be under a bridge drinking.
Yeah.
And so they measure up to that, and it's like, well, my life isn't like that, so I couldn't be an alcoholic.
Well, and plus I owned restaurants and nightclubs, and so I saw people who were real alcoholics, quote unquote. That's air quotes, guys. I'm not one of those guys. Look at the way that guy acts. I'm not like that. We had to throw that guy out of the bar at least once a month. They've never had to throw me out of a bar.
No, I'm just visualizing what you were like at home, though.
At home, I'm a go to sleep drunk.
Yeah.
I'm not a party lampshade. They say that your opposite. I've always heard that your opposite behavior comes out. That you're Jekyll and Hyde. And I'm a very outgoing, gregarious person naturally. So when I drink, I just kind of fade into my big chair, and I love on my puppies.
But you isolated.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In the basement. You bet. Isolated. You bet. And door shut. If there's a door to the basement. And then, of course, if somebody pushed my button, I went from 0 to fast in a heartbeat to manipulate them, to push back, to make them go, oh, I don't want to deal with Dad that way. I don't want to deal with my husband that way. I was mean and cranky and horrible and said crappy things. And they'd go away, and then I'd fall back into my chair. And I'd take a couple sleeping pills, and I'd sleep. And I'd wake up. I'll be honest with you, Amy. I'm sure I've had a hangover since 1985, but the last hangover I remember was 85, and I wasn't even drinking then. I had gone out for an evening on a radio station thing, and they gave me Long Island iced teas, and they said they were Coke. And I drank like 10 of them or whatever, and I was just dead sick. And I don't think I had a hangover for 20-some years after that. It's terrible when we have to talk about these things.
That could have been alcohol poisoning back then if
you
weren't a drinker.
It probably was. Mm-hmm. I remember driving home the station van, and I'm westbound on Douglas at Merle Hay, and I'm taking my hand and I'm covering up my left eye because I can't see through both eyes, and I remember wishing they'd pick me up because I didn't think I was going to get home.
Yeah.
Okay. I was coming home from the old, what was that place called out in Altoona with the Quonset hut, the country bar? Anyway, I can't remember now. You were a West Side girl. You didn't know where the white trash like me went. Okay, so let's go through a counseling session for a minute. Oh, well, you don't do those, though, do you?
I do more of the help people understand what treatment is and what level of care we would recommend. And then I do a tour. I help give people a tour of our treatment center so they can see where they would be doing treatment.
It's like a spa, right? I mean, there's people walking around in sunshine and gourmet food, right? And non-alcoholic drinks with umbrellas and...
It's not exactly that, but it's definitely not as scary as most people think. You're not locked in a psychiatric unit. You're not, there's absolutely no locking up whatsoever. If your family can come visit several times a week if you happen to be staying over. They set up family sessions. You're going to do counseling every day. The food is good, actually, at Lutheran Hospital. I hear that from the patients.
Yeah. I just thought of something. This is... The first time I had to go through Powell outpatient was 1994 on a DUI. And we did a thing where we were supposed to bring our wives in, spouses in. So I brought my wife in. I remember driving home that night, and she said, you will never get another DUI because I will never go to another family counseling session again. Never. And she never did.
That happens. We try to, it's a family disease. So we try to get the family in there. And usually the attitude is with the spouses, this isn't my problem, it's their problem.
Right. And my wife doesn't believe it's a disease. Even to this day, she doesn't believe it's a disease.
I bet if she saw Dr. Wise's movie, she would think differently.
That could be, but I'm just saying. And I'm the luckiest guy in the world to have the wife I have. You know my wife. She's a wonderful person. She didn't marry an alcoholic. She wouldn't have married an alcoholic. We were together almost 10 years before I ever took a drink. She never saw me drink. I mean, maybe I remember once we had a margarita at the old Chi-Chi's.
Oh, yeah.
And we ordered one margarita and split it. And that was like the most alcohol the two of us had at one time. What were you going to say, Bob?
No, that was me.
Oh,
over here.
Yeah.
That was Frank calling in earlier. He was wondering if you were thinking about the plantation.
Thank you, Frank. The plantation. Remember the plantation, the old Quonset hut over in Altoona? Country bar?
No.
Okay. That was for us white trash people. All right. Well, when we come back, then I want to role play with you for a second. Because you would see me in counseling, right?
Well, right now my job's kind of changed. I would see you when you were done with treatment. And you'd be in aftercare.
Okay. Then we're going to role play, and I'll be a different cowboy. Because now I've gone through 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, of outpatient treatment.
Right.
Probably some inpatient treatment in the beginning, detox. And so let's have a conversation of what that might sound like after somebody gets out of counseling. And that's probably a good idea because now I get to be who I am now. And you can see how attitudes and belief systems change. especially when you realize the harm you've done to your family. Because you heard Mac a minute ago, the guy before I quit drinking, I wasn't hurting my family. I wasn't hurting anybody. Oh, I get mad and yell, but that didn't hurt anybody. Yeah, it did. Broke their hearts. They couldn't have a reasonable conversation with Dad when he was drunk. It's coming up next, live. From Powell CDC, this is Recovery Mondays on KTIA, Iowa.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
If you choose to obey the power of sin, it leads to death. If you choose to obey obedience, it leads to righteousness.
Forgiveness is just the beginning of life in Christ. God wants us to live for Him now.
And because of Jesus Christ, the gospel was preached, and you and I are blessed today because of Abraham. Did you know that? We're blessed.
Experience Truth, 99.3 FM.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
10 before the top, Salem Radio Network News, and Michael Mudloff with True Blue. Last few minutes here of Recovery Monday on this 24th day of March. Okay, so now I've gone through 4 to 5 weeks of care, and in that time I've gotten through at least 5 steps, probably.
No, we don't really do the steps anymore like they used to, because people would just, they would be doing them for the wrong reason. They would lie. They would do all kinds of things. So we really don't do that.
Okay. But I've had a realization in my life that I do have an alcohol problem, that I'm probably an alcoholic, or I've discovered I am an alcoholic. In fact, if I say probably, I'm probably not in your group, am I? Because I haven't really come to terms with it. Or would I still be allowed?
I have people in aftercare who are still questioning, or mostly they're questioning if they need to go to AA meetings or 12-step things. They don't want to do that.
Okay. So have a conversation with me like you'd have with me as I get ready to join your group, or I'm in your group for the first time.
Well, I would explain to them why they would need an aftercare group, because when what happened when they were in treatment was that they got rid of the alcohol or the drugs, and now we're dealing with the things that were underlying what was going on to begin with, why they were drinking or why they were using. So now in the aftercare program, we're dealing with what the real problem is.
The real problem.
Because the alcohol or the drugs were a symptom of what was going on.
And is there ever a case where they're not the symptom, that they are the problem? Are there? And would that be a social drinker who drinks too much?
Yeah, but most people that overdrink are drinking too much, whether they're overdrink too much. There's something else underlying that.
Yeah, because I think back, I was just sharing with Amy, I remember when my wife and I think we were still dating, so this would have been in the early 90s, or I'm sorry, late 80s. We went to Chi-Chi's. Remember the old Chi-Chi's?
Yeah.
And we split a margarita. And we thought that was, wow, a lot of alcohol. It's funny now when I think about it. So when I get done with my counseling, my outpatient, Give me a couple of realizations that I've probably, where the light bulb's probably gone off.
Realizations about your alcoholism or just
about
life?
my alcoholism and about life. I mean, I walk out and I go, whoa, I had no idea that it was really like this.
Well, one of the things that I hear from the patients a lot is that they never realized how it was affecting other people.
That's what I was going to say. They don't realize how much they're hurting their families. They're not awake to it, especially when they first come and see me.
Yeah.
It takes weeks, days, sometimes a couple weeks for them to start really.
We do these things called interferences,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to write down how their drinking or their using interfered with other people. And that's a wake-up call for them.
And they do it when they're sober.
Yeah.
So they either do it when they're staying overnight with us or in that intensive outpatient phase. So they're maintaining abstinence, and then therefore they can really think about how their drinking's impacted their life because they're not.
And then they have to say it out loud.
Right.
So, but it kind of gives you permission when you're hearing other people really be honest about that, then it gives you permission to be honest as well.
Is that the value of the group setting? That you hear other people coming clean and admitting things, and then you go, oh my gosh, that's me?
Yeah.
I'm just like that?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've heard time and time again in 12-step meetings where people realize that, they thought that their problems were exclusive to them.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody could have problems like I do. And then they realize that 8 out of 9 guys in the room have the same problem they do.
I think the more honest the people can be, the more helpful it is, not only to themselves, but to other people in the group.
How is I want to ask you a personal question,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't want to answer it, say, Mac, I have to go to the bathroom. You have never had a substance abuse problem. Your husband hasn't either. How does this impact your relationship with him? Because it's got to make it better.
Make us better?
Yeah.
How does working in this field?
Yeah, because I'm just guessing, but I would think that you have so much maturity in problem solving, and so many couples get in fights over surface things, and my guess is you guys don't. You're not perfect, but my guess is you don't have a lot of that.
Well, I come home from work, and sometimes, I'm just exhausted.
Yeah, mentally.
Because we've seen, the things that I see at work, people, I see, a range of things. People are told if they drink again, they're going to die, and they still walk out against medical advice of the hospital, or they're on a liver transplant list. So I come home with an appreciation for how this really is life and death. And so I'm always thankful. I don't take for granted my family. Mm-hmm. And we're in the early stages of parenting. So we kind of are on the same page about what we're going to expect for our kids. And we're really paying, this job also scares me to death about raising kids these days because there are so many prescriptions, a drug addiction out there. There's marijuana rampant, and all we hear now is that marijuana should be legalized. And so raising kids,
it will be.
Eventually, probably, unfortunately.
It will be.
But raising kids in this kind of an atmosphere is scary. And so I think it helps my husband and I get on the same page about what we're going to expect of our kids and teach our kids.
Are you a person within your circle of influence that people come to and say, hey, can I talk to you about my husband?
Yes, I've had lots of friends say, share about their loved ones or families, or ask about how to get into treatment, or where can you get treatment, so yes.
Yeah, I've noticed that in my life too. All of a sudden, I've become the guy and I love it. I'm so blessed by God that he brings these people alongside me. And you know this. I've called you half a dozen times. But I'll have somebody call me and say, hey, you're still sober. You're doing that sober thing, right? Or you're still sober. Or congratulations, how long is it now? Well, Mary, my friend, I think there's a problem, And too many times I get this, I have a friend.
Yes, I hear that all the time.
It's them.
On the phone.
Yeah,
right.
It's them.
That's why I always ask, is this really you or is this a loved one?
Yeah. And the one of the greatest things that's come out of that is I've had a couple people that worked for me in the restaurant and bars over the years who are now in this program because they realize now that maybe if I'm one, maybe they could be one.
Right.
And that's probably the nicest thing. Nicest is the wrong term. That's the biggest blessing I have in being a public figure in this town for 40 years, is that, like that girl said in that meeting on Saturday, well, if a girl was in a meeting 25 days, she's been sober, and she said in the meeting, well, if Mac's in here, then I must be in the right place, because she only knew me as the persona on the radio or Facebook or whatever it was. So God's allowed me to help people that way. And that's neat.
Yes,
That's cool. Yeah.
And that about my job, I see people at their worst when they come in. They are either intoxicated or really, really sick. So when they complete treatment and get to Lila's groups, sometimes they'll stop up and say, I'm doing okay, or things are great, or thanks for everything. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
Amy Oehlert has been our guest today. She's a care manager at Powell CDC, just one of the people at Powell that are there to help you. But you got to take the first step and ask for help. I'll see you tomorrow. Tom Coates will be here along with Sam Clovis. And until then, pick somebody you hate, somebody you don't want to have anything to do with ever. And tonight, on your knees, forgive them.